So, yeah, we have a new intro.
That was awesome. I liked it.
We're a big deal here over at UGAsports.com. Thanks for watching Film Don't Lie. Brent, Rollins, Dayne Young. We pair the video and the data to kind of show you what happened in Georgia games each week. Brent, overall, Vanderbilt hung with Georgia, I think, better than most people expected they would, especially more than what Vegas thought with the spread. We're here to show you some of the things offensively that Georgia did to help Vanderbilt out. Overall, rewatching the game, what did you think of Georgia's offensive performance?
Offensively, I mean, one, you turned the ball over once early. Like, it didn't obviously lead to points, but it was just wasn't good. You made a defensive mistake. But the biggest picture, I think, for this game was Vanderbilt was the first team that truly said, hey, we're going to play sort of a quarters look for corners deep, safeties deep, and make you throw the ball like short, and make any sort of tough, down the field things be truly one-on-one type stuff. And, this is one where, like, if you look at his sort of Beck's yards per completion, yards per attempt, all that, it's the lowest it's been all season. And you're going to see a lot of stuff in here. When they took deep shots, they just didn't hit them. And two, oftentimes they just didn't take them.
We're going to start here. This is early in the game, a 3rd and 5. A couple times, what we're going to show here is right tackle, which when Monroe Freeling came in after Truss got injured, you give some grace to that as well. But right tackle, not the best game overall for that position.
No, and this is one where instantly you see the field sucked. Like, that was one of the biggest things of rewatching the game is, and you saw it live, but how much players were slipping. And this is one where obviously Truss gets he tries to reach a little bit and gets where we talked about getting his head forward, but he instantly slips. And there's other plays that we're going to show, like Milton's long run, player slips trying to tackle him. Like, it was bad. So, and then obviously you got to protect the football if you're Carson Beck. And this is not how obviously when you're first third down of the game, because it was quick to Bowers. And then it doesn't really work out well.
Just overall from Vandy's defensive scheme here, they did a lot of this of let's show you a lot of people at the line of scrimmage and trying to make you guess who's dropping back and who's coming. I didn't think Vandy brought the house very much. They were aggressive on some 3rd down situations, but as you see here, 3 guys drop back.
Well, this is one where, like, if you go back to the snap, like, this is one where this should be easily identifiable for the most part from the edge component piece of who's coming, because there's no way they're going to, on the first 3rd down of the game here, run cover 0 where the safety that's in the middle of the field walks down and covers Ladd and just bring the house. Like, they're not going to do that. It's one of these with the corner at the top of the screen hanging over top of another guy. Like, okay, that outside guy, he's coming. Like, you should know that the guy that's right over top of, I think, Bowers. Yeah. That guy. Yeah. He's coming. That guy. And then you should know that this other side to the wide side of the field is dropping off. Now, they actually do a good job here of showing man and then sprinting back into a 2 deep and all zone. So Beck was going to be confused and have to kind of sit and wait for things to develop a little bit in terms of what was going to be open here. They did a good job of they just made a great call. You had 6 players to protect 4, and then everybody was kind of set up. It's just once he slips, now play's over. You just got to protect the football.
So things happen. Like I said, slip on the field. Don't need that to happen, but it wasn't just Georgia slipping on the field either. Next up, this is – and look, I've been critical of Carson Beck all year in a lot of cases. I think the stat lines really haven't been indicative of his overall performance. The Kentucky first half, notwithstanding, was fantastic there. But there are just too many plays like this that this should be a big gain, and it isn't. It's just poor throw to Marcus Rosemary-Jackson.
He'll never have an easier 25-plus yard touchdown throw in his career, likely. This was one where, like, both safeties split out, like, completely untouched. You just missed. You just straight up missed this one.
But I feel like you can count maybe 5 or 6 of these already this season.
I would, yeah. I haven't.
Now he's hit some too. Like, let me be fair to him. He has hit some of these as well.
Yeah, and I think the biggest picture of, especially anybody who's watching live here, what we do in the totality of this, they still had 552 yards of offense. They did like all these positive things, but we're just looking at, obviously, when you look at film, you look at the details. And here he just misses one. And this is one where, like, when you know the guy is that open, because instantly the guy when the motion happens, the sprint motion there, with the safety taking his eyes out there, like, all right, you know the middle of the field is wide open. Throw the completion. Like, you hear me say that consistently with QBs. You know a guy's open, throw the completion. This doesn't have to be put it in the bucket, drop a dime type thing.
Now, that one's on Beck multiple times in this game, including right here. Beck didn't get a whole lot of help from his skill guys.
Yeah, there was 3 drops in this game. This is one of them. And what's interesting about this is where we can kind of show what Vanderbilt did a little bit. So pause it a little bit as we go through. So right there, this is still a true kind of – you see the 4 deep defenders, the 2 corners and the 2 safeties. They gave a lot of this, hey, quarters look, I'm daring you to run the football. And what's even more interesting about this play is the safety that's near the closest to the official on the bottom side of the V there on the hash, him. He goes and doubles Bowers. Like, as you roll through this, right about there, he comes off of Arian Smith and doubles Bowers. That's why he's so one-on-one there. And this is one where I tell my sons play baseball, and they play for one of the better high school baseball programs in the state. And
which one's that?
That would be North Coney, 2-time defending state champ. But like, they're going to say, hey, I'm going to tell them at some point you're going to get some level of opportunity. You have to take advantage of it. And right now, the opportunities that Arian Smith is getting, he is not taking advantage of.
I was almost afraid to look at this PFF grade, but then I saw it and I was like,
It wasn't good because and it's sample size based. Like when that's your, I think, lone target maybe of the game. And then we saw it last week against Kentucky coming back to the ball. Now, obviously, if you want to say, hey, look, Beck put the ball in stride and make the perfect throw, you're not going to get that every time. This is a very catchable ball. You got to get this. You as a receiver.
You're saying if that throw is out here.
Oh, yeah, and he's running under it, and it's perfect, and he keeps in stride, all that sort of stuff. No, it's not going to happen every time.
Yeah.
You as a receiver have to make plays when you're given the chance to make plays, and this is one where just didn't. It was one of 3 drops in the game.
Yeah, when the ball goes through your hands, it is a catchable ball. I really don't care about the rest of it.
Yep.
Next up, we have this one to Dominic Lovett.
This is one where a couple of things here is same sort of look. If we go back to the snap, same sort of look, that quarters look. We got four deep across. This is an exact play that the Texans just punked Jesse Bates and the Falcons on the previous week. Watch Rosemary Jack Saint's route where he kind of comes in to start, and then he wants that safety to drive forward to the end route, but it doesn't happen. He doesn't sell. I think this is a terrible route by him. Like, he needs to sell that one, really look inside and sell that to try to get the safety to come up and bite and be able to throw over the top of him. But the instant, right? So let's go back just a little bit, just slightly a little bit. If that's the play and that's Beck's primary read here, right about a little bit forward. Now, like right now, even before that, you're not throwing that ball. Yeah. Like, that guy's covered, and look where the open space is and where the guy has leverage to win. Like, this is one where it's like, he just come off of this quicker, see that quicker, boom. And then, he obviously sees late. Now, in terms of, you mentioned the right tackle stuff, this was one of the 2 pressures that Mr. Freeling, true freshman. Now, we'll say, overall, big picture, very impressed with his play. And we're going to look in another video in the running game stuff. He did some things in the running game where I was like, okay, from an athletic standpoint, watching, I thought he actually played well enough to the point where I'm like, okay, does he need more snaps potentially, especially if you're not getting Mims back? So, but this is one where he got beat.
Biggest thing that I took away from this is one of the difficulties. If Brock Bowers can't play, this is the area where it's going to be very difficult because Georgia does not have a ton of just red zone playmakers. And Bowers, even if he's not getting the ball, he commands the attention. That it just loosens up things for the rest of your skill guys. And there's not a lot open here, to your point. Yes, Lovett it should have been a touchdown. Fine, totally cool. But I'm just saying, everything gets easier here if you have 19 on the field.
Always.
And he's not.
100%. Very much so.
All right, next up, just before the half.
This was this was the good. This was we showed this what was it in the Auburn game to Bowers. And what's interesting is obviously once Bowers went out of the game, Lovett's targets and usage went exponentially up. But this is what we saw. This was Missouri Lovett. This was down the field target type deal. When you look at Lovett's targets this year, his average depth of target with Georgia is 4.7 yards. Basically, everything has been at the line of scrimmage. Now, this is his second longest reception other than I think very early in the UAB game, like maybe even the first play against UAB, I think it was. But this is where I think if at some point Bowers is not on the field, if you don't have him in 2 weeks in Jacksonville, this is the guy who has to, him and both Ladd, you have to use him down the field because he is a playmaker. And this is exactly where you need to throw this ball. And what's amazing is he throws this ball and then not in terms of game time, like 5 minutes of game time, but one of the next drives, he doesn't do the same thing with a throw to McConkey. But great throw here, great. Let him make a play, especially in the 2 minute.
We snuck this in the middle here because I feared that we were kind of sounding a little over negative too. So
yes, and we got to have. I mean,
a little candy in here.
I mean, you still did a lot of good things in this game.
Yeah, but we're here to show you the things that didn't go.
And that's
right.
why we do multiple videos. We show the good and the bad and a little bit of both,
including this miss to Ladd McConkey, a little play fake.
And this is one. What's interesting is watch Ladd's route here. Like slow motion, he actually kind of just barely walks a little bit, and then he hits the gas pedal. And then the guy that covers him, go back to where it's kind of Ladd drops off the screen, is the middle linebacker. And he instantly, boom there, and he's right there. He turns around and completely turns his back to Carson Beck and is just sprinting to get back to Ladd. And it's the same throw he just made, except this time for some reason, he tried to almost lead Ladd a little bit versus just throwing it a couple yards behind him and because Ladd's eyes are on him, throw it a couple yards behind him, let him stop, let the defenders keep going because he's not going to see that. His back was completely to him.
And while we're talking about Monroe Freeling, good rep here.
He had a lot of them, a lot of good reps. I think his grade was in the 60s, but just the thing I wanted to watch was just the athletic, the feet, because that was the first kind of real deal action we've seen him with. But yeah, I thought he was good.
Remember last week when I kind of made fun of Kentucky for having two players at the same spot on the field?
Georgia did it here.
Kind of happened for Georgia here where, I mean, this is a good play by the defender here. Like, have some force and make the blockers kind of be in your path here. And Vandy dictated this play.
Yeah, and it's one where a couple different things. One is this is technically kind of a play action in a way, or semi RPO, but more play action because he's not reading anything. This is ball's out quick. He's faking it. So play action depth of target in this game was very short, a lot of quick things. But it's who, in terms of the numbers of things, does Delp come over there? Hey, I got this closest man, or does he just feel threatened there? But yeah, the math did not work out once two guys get one defender.
It quickly becomes a play you can't do much with if you have two open defenders trying to tackle Makai Muse.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'm not even the data guy on the call. I can tell you that much. This throw was a little bit low to Ra Thomas. You hope that Ra can make this catch.
Yeah. We talked about this last week with Brock on the touchdown he dropped against Kentucky, where kind of hands. This is one where how do you normally see receivers make this catch where it's a low catch with kind of their hands under this, and we're going to put our arms together and kind of cradle it and make sure our arms and forearms stay under the ball. He tried to put his hands that way and catch this thing very awkwardly.
Yeah,
almost snatch it, and if you got great hands, you can do that, great, but it's a really tough catch when you try to make it that way. I thought Beck kind of hung onto this because you're running an out and up with Lovett to occupy the corner.
I wanted to ask you, why would you not try to throw they're both open? I'm not being too critical of this because you make this throw, you get the first down. I mean, it's 1st and 10 anyway, but This looks like a potential explosive here to me.
I mean, it's one where you're going to throw that more so down the field, and then once the corner's eyes there, I think he could have thrown the hook route quicker, like right there. As soon as that defender is chopping and can't explode forward, he's getting under control, and your receiver's under control first. Throw it, like right there, throw it, like, and oh well. But like, again, this is another drop. This is a one where in the end, McClennan's in the receiver room being like, "Hey, dude, tough catch, but we got to make that one. We're normally supposed to make that one.
Got to help your guy out there." This time we're back to Freeling,
and this is just tough. And what's interesting about it is it wasn't necessarily his guy. This is something that Georgia does all the time. I would think they work this consistently, and he just got off balance with the defensive tackle hitting him and then getting the wrap underneath. And teams are going to consistently do this to you.
Now, I do think that this is one of the plays that Carson Beck probably gets a little bit of, hey, like, don't put your arm out there when you're feeling that kind of pressure. Like, it's okay to eat this one, or like you're trying to throw it away, or you're trying to
if you lob that ball in the air, that's going the other way.
Right.
But what's interesting about this game and the Auburn game are the only two games where Beck has been pressured in at least 20% of his dropbacks. It was a little over 20% in this game. In those two games under pressure, he is 5 for 12 for 57 yards. So, it's something that moving forward, you're going to see more pressure against the teams that you're playing moving forward.
But let's be candid here. This is a 4-man rush from Vandy. This is not some big blitz.
No.
I do think you will see some big blitzes coming from teams in the future, because like any quarterback, this is not unique to Carson Beck at all. When they're pressured, they tend to make more mistakes.
Yeah, look at Caleb Williams right now. Mm-hmm. Last year was the highest graded quarterback under pressure in FBS. This year's like 130th.
Yeah.
And his grade's like 30. It's such a random thing.
This one I know you wanted to talk about.
It's a couple things here. One, Kirby talked about this obviously after the game. Hey, don't take that sack. Once you break, throw it out of the back of the end zone, throw it into the dirt that was the freaking construction. That's amazing behind it. But the other part is I didn't understand why he didn't let this one rip. So look where his eyes go. So boom, right here. So his eyes are watching. I think it's Rosemary Jackson, maybe, that's running the kind of post route here. But watch Delp. And so right there, his eye, like, that's a touchdown. That's my 6'5" tight end is just beating the little 6-foot corner, and he like the split second that he took his eyes off of it, and that's because he saw it. I think like go back just a hair. So he sees that guy there, like right there. Like you can tell the eyes are looking at the safety taking Rosemary Jackson. This is one where I'm like, okay, boom, throw that to the corner.
Yeah. Let
your big guy go get it. And then obviously don't take the sack.
Yeah. And by that point, I don't know why he didn't throw it to Delp there. And I guess by the time
you think about the timing of it.
Once you get out here, just sail this ball out here.
The other thing too is where are your receivers now? You got Delp in the back right corner. Keep going left. Like he just kind of did the whole stop and go back right and just, all right, if you're going to go to where your receivers are, keep going left. Or like we said, throw it away out of the tackle box, throw it away.
Plays like this, and they haven't happened frequently for Georgia this year. It tells me Mike Bobo's doing a really, really, really good job of getting Carson Beck to operate out of his strength, which is catch the ball, timing routes, strong arm.
Structure.
Yes. Like there are some quarterbacks that can handle chaos well and make things happen and make plays that weren't designed to be there. That's not going to be Carson Beck's strength. I'm not saying he can't do a little backyard ball. He's capable of it. We've seen it a couple of times. But that's not going to be his strength. And I think that Georgia's offense, the fact that we haven't seen more of this through 7 games, I think Mike Bobo's done a really good job this year.
Oh, yeah. Has. And that's the Beck's strength. Like his strength is mental and accuracy and those things. So you're playing to those strengths versus, for example, again, Caleb Williams. That's what's going to be interesting with him is NFL teams are going to look at the draft type stuff and be like, okay, let me just go to his plays where he's reading 1, 2, and then 3, and then making a throw because everything seems to be kind of a backyard ball type deal with him.
One more play we wanted to feature. This is fourth quarter to Ra Thomas.
It was a very peculiar throw. I don't know if the wind got it, if the ball slipped a little bit, but it came out kind of hot and then just died. Like it was wobbling just a little bit. I don't know, but it's one where, just not a great ball.
I mean, I like his movement to the left in the pocket. Like all that looks fine to me.
Yep. And I think that's actually something that you watch him and you can tell that, all the QB drills that you see on Twitter and everywhere else with the footwork and the various things that he does, he's very good with that.
Yeah.
Very good feel for the pocket. Now, there's a couple times in this game, one specifically that I remember where it's like he had much more of a pocket and the mental clock was going off, but the pocket was good. So he's, his footwork got a little off because of the mental clock part of it. But I think the biggest thing here is, like you said, with Bowers in the first, for the most part of the first half, you were up around 7 yards of play. Outside of the two long runs in the second half, you were right around like 4 yards or a little less per play. He's such a key to what you want to do. Opens up everything. Just hope that he's A-okay and that it's not anything that's going to keep him out for any extended period of time.
Well, and you had mentioned what Lovett did, best game of his Georgia career. McConkey being back makes a big difference. And so the offense does have playmakers outside of Brock Bowers. It's just the best version of Georgia is always going to have Brock Bowers on the field. And, when you start prognosticating beyond this season, Brock Bowers is not going to be here next year. So what are you operating with at that point? And I do think that's a lot of the conversation that'll be happening around Georgia during the bye week this week is coaches have to be thinking that way of what roster holes are we going to have, either people vacating Georgia and what can we do to fill those? Because recruiting happens this week, trying to figure out where you need help in the portal is going to be happening this week. It's already been happening. This is not new. There's a whole team of people that's involved in this. And I think that that's an interesting conversation for when that happens. Now, you hope you have 15-7. So that many more Brock Bowers games left at Georgia. And we'll see if he's there for Jacksonville. Hey.
But the stuff that Vandy did from a coverage standpoint, you're going to just trust me, you're going, and I'm going to show it this week on the website, but you're going to see more of it. Making team, they're almost daring Georgia to run the football and live in that world, much like the NFL now with the deep safeties, making everything sort of try to be dink and dunk.
If you want to help with Georgia's roster management, one simple thing you can do is support our friends over at ASW Distillery. Distilled by Dogs, 5 of the 6 founders of ASW Distillery are Georgia grads. And so what they've done is they have created this Hunker vodka. And you see it is in conjunction with Classic City Collective. So when these sell, some of that money goes to Classic City Collective. That's Georgia's NIL arm, which means that's a way that Georgia players end up seeing benefit from that. So if you want to support Classic City Collective, one way you can do it is through ASW Distillery. You can check out, I think their Instagram page is really good, but also just wherever you buy your spirits, go say, hey, make sure you have ASW here, and I want to try that Hunker vodka. And you can tell them you heard about it from Film Don't Lie at UGAsports.com. Also, Brent, I'm excited to tell you, today I did the last grass cutting of the year. I'm declaring it over. And so I'm looking around at my yard now and I'm like, all right, I have a clear picture of some things that I need to get done. And I think that, if Breda Pest can get out here and make sure that all these spiders get out of my way, then I think I'll have a good off season for the yard here.
I was waiting till the bye week.
You're waiting. All right.
Okay. Complete waiting till next weekend.
Well, I have declared that grass cutting season is over at the Young home. But that also means that some critters may get riled up here because I just kind of went and destructed some other homes. And so I need to get Breda Pest out here and make sure that they stay away from the house and go out here into the Oconee County woods. BredaPest.com, they're the official pest management company of the Georgia Bulldogs. They protect Sanford Stadium. They can protect your home. Again, that's BredaPest.com. All right, this has been our live edition of Film Don't Lie. We're about to record a couple of more. If you're watching live, those will be up, I'd say, within a half hour or so for the first one. And if you're watching this not live, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're over 40,000 subscribers, the largest of any outlet that covers UGA. And we're grateful for all of you for making time for us, because Film Don't Lie is a lot of fun to do, and we like talking ball with you all, and love seeing your feedback. So thanks for watching. Thanks to Breda Pest Management, ASW Distillery. We'll see you next time.